Hey, folks, this is Lonzo, the Godfather of West Coast Hip Hop and the president of the Compton Entertainment Chamber of Commerce. And one of the things we do for our members for the chamber is we bring them on the show and let them tell you what their business is all about, what they're all about, so that you will know who you're dealing with when you go to the ComptonENTChamber.org and you see somebody posted on our business site. You'll know we work with some good people. Today, lady I met about 2 weeks ago now in Compton, at the Business Roundtable, sponsored by our city council person, Miss Lily Duhart. I'm sorry, Darton. Woo, no. Who forgot Darton?
When I saw her, that's Mother Darton.
Okay. Lily P. Okay. But yes, Miss Duhart, Darton. Boy, them D's getting on my nerves. Anyway, you're live with Lonzo. I met her at the event, and we started talking. I was telling about one of the dreams and plans I plan to bring to the city of Compton, which is the Compton Walk of Fame. And her eyes got big. You need to talk to me, man. I need to talk to you. What I do. And she sat down. We talked for a minute, and she told me what she does. And what she does, she's into tourism. I'm gonna let her tell you the rest about her business. My guest today on the show is Khalifa Bey. How you doing, Ms. Khalifa?
I'm doing great, my brother. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Good. I cannot complain. I'm glad you made it up to the studio today. One of my first in-person interviews in quite some time. Usually I do them on virtual, but you're always welcome to come out of the studio and sit and kick it with me.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I really do appreciate being from Compton.
Yeah. Everybody can't come to your house.
No.
Everybody.
I get it. I don't even let certain servicemen in my house. So
one time I had a studio. I'll show you a few minutes. It was a full-blown recording studio. I was open for business. Anybody with some money to come by here and record. And I never forget recently, not long ago, a guy, Lonzo, I used to come by your house when I was a kid. Where you been, man? I've been in prison for the last 20 years. You still in the same place? No, I moved. I'm gone. I've been out of there. Anyway, tell us about your business, darling.
Well, my name is Khalifa Bey, and I am Executive Director of the South Los Angeles Bureau of Tourism and Trade.
All right. Now tell us how important tourism and trade is here in the country, period.
Tourism, just in Los Angeles, is a $206 billion industry. $206 billion.
Now, when you say tourism, you talking about going to Disneyland, going to Magic Mountain? What we talking about?
Yeah, okay. For the Bureau, I like to call it the Bureau, we specialize in cultural and heritage tourism. And then you have commercial tourism, which are your Disneyland, your Magic Mountains, your Hollywood Boulevards, your sunsets. Okay. That's commercial tourism. Okay. So from a commercial tourism perspective, it's $206 billion.
Wow.
And that's just in Los Angeles, but in California as a whole, it's a much greater figure than that. So with cultural tourism, it's more on an intellectual level.
Okay.
And it's when you come and you learn about the people who are from that particular region, city, town, or space.
Okay.
With cultural tourism, it's more fantasy.
It's
more fantasy, just like Disneyland.
Okay.
When people go to Disneyland, just to get in, you at about 500.
500. Okay. Most people, 500.
You at 500. And then when you think about Disneyland, you don't even hear about Mickey Mouse anymore. Everybody knows, Disneyland was built on Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, and that. But you can't find Mickey at Disneyland.
No.
So I'm bringing the people the authentic cultural history of South Los Angeles. Did you know that Los Angeles was founded in 1781 by a group of 26 Black families?
No.
12 others and 2 Caucasian families?
No.
That's who founded Los Angeles in 1781. With that particular history, it's unknown to most people. With that particular history, at that time, we started owning, like the Biddy Masons, we owned practically all of South Los Angeles, or Los Angeles in particular, because South Los Angeles is a region within the broader Los Angeles. But she owned a great portion out to San Fernando Valley of Los Angeles.
Okay.
But with the covenants and so forth, as other people start coming in and taking over, they got her property by eminent domain.
Mm.
But the building, the foundation, just like anything else in America, were built by foundation of Black Americans.
Okay.
That means us, we who built the country. So from a tourist perspective, if you take it all the way back to the first voyage of trade in the world was done by Queen Hatshepsut.
Okay.
She took a voyage from where she was to the land of Punt. It took her about 21 days because that was the first voyage. And she had as commodities
Go ahead.
gold, silver, animals, just a myriad to trade with what is now known as Somalia.
Okay.
So as when you're traveling from place to place, you're looking to find what goods can you exchange,
Okay.
how much commerce, because we look at it as money, but the actual term of it is trade and commerce.
Okay.
So if I have potatoes and you have beans, what can we make together? I trade
Right.
you potatoes, beans, we all eat.
Right.
So that's how it began.
Okay.
But as everything has expanded, coming forward 2022, yeah, we're 2022, those economic dollars still apply.
Okay.
And what we have to do as being in Los Angeles and any tourism, we have to invite people in to spend their money.
Mm.
We have to invite people in. And my goal is to be able to resurrect our communities through tourism and trade. We are the culture here, not only in Los Angeles, but throughout the world.
Okay.
So you have somebody that comes from, say, New York, and they want to know about Los Angeles. There is a tourism bureau, conventions bureau of Los Angeles, but they don't cover South LA.
Ah.
They don't cover South LA, which is good.
Okay. It's opportunity.
It's opportunity. And as we continue to control the culture, we continue to control and monetize the assets that are ours.
Okay.
Say, for example, Compton. Compton, to me, is the preeminent destination globally.
Okay.
The Compton brand is, oh my God, it's global, it's universal.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to come to Compton. Who has
Look.
come out of Compton? Just the world stage, Venus and Serena.
Right.
They're on the lips of everyone when it comes to tennis. You know, let's talk about Snoop Dogg out of Compton.
No, it's Trey.
Trey? Oh, I put him all
Kendrick.
in one.
Yeah, I know.
And Kendrick Lamar, and you know, all those other
Right,
people.
right.
What I'm saying,
Right.
the culture is here that people just want to be able to be in the midst and the presence of, and they're willing to pay handsomely for that.
You know, I was talking to a friend of mine. He was a politician, and he was saying he had several meetings when marijuana became legal. He had several meetings with different people who wanted to grow marijuana in Compton. He was like, "Why Compton?" He said, "Because Compton is a worldwide brand, world-known, world-dominating brand name that people recognize. It's like cognac vineyards of France. Okay, when you say cognac, cognac is a area. It's not a brand.
Right.
Okay,
right,
it's where they grow the grapes at,
okay.
and they named it after the alcohol. But Compton's the same way. It has that branding power. And when I was later talking to another current city councilman, he was really upset that even with what happened to Compton in the Super Bowl.
Mm.
You know, I was blessed to have a venue that was featured in the Super Bowl as well, but Compton didn't make a dime off of that.
You know what? I was before the pandemic really hit.
Mm-hmm.
I still have today an outline
Mm-hmm.
of what that could have looked like. Because you're not the only one that saw that.
Okay.
I saw that.
Okay.
Because every entertainer was connected to Compton.
Mm.
So what were we going to do?
Right.
As far as being able to capture some of those dollars.
Right.
But this is just an opportunity because the Super Bowl will be back.
Okay.
And that's a part of tourism. And we are not going to get left out of this go round because Mayor Tom Bradley brought the Olympics to Los Angeles in 1984.
Okay.
And at that time, a lot of businesses were prepared, but somehow they got cut out.
Yeah.
They cut them out. You know, they were supposed to have, they're supposed to have certain priority vendor spaces.
Okay.
And it did not happen. Instead of, bringing the tourists by the vendors, they took them around the other way.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, a lot of businesses went out of business because of that. They rested their whole.
Yeah, and they turned a lot of streets became one-way streets.
Absolutely.
Which means you had to go right around this person. You couldn't go through them.
Absolutely.
Because you couldn't. And then a lot of things got shut down during certain hours of the day. You know, I remember that. I remember one thing was only thing I remember that was good about that. Traffic was great that time.
Yeah.
Because they said you couldn't drive trucks to certain hours. You had to drive the trucks in the evening time, which made the freeways a lot clearer throughout the day. Exactly. But that's just something I remember.
Yeah, absolutely. But now, as we have this opportunity, because again, it is about preparing to welcome visitors, preparing people to be able to come drop some money.
Olympics come back with
2028.
2028.
Right.
Okay. So we got about a little less than 5 years. And people think 5 years is a long time.
That's not a long time.
You're trying to build something, trying to make 5 years ain't a long time.
That's not a long time. And they're actually preparing today.
Yeah.
They're preparing right now.
Yeah.
And it's up to us at this juncture. So we have to self-promote. You know all about promoting.
Yes.
We just have to self-promote. We have to have, we have the tools now.
Okay.
We're not dependent upon mainstream media to promote.
Right.
That's not their position nor their job. And if they did promote, they're going to do it wrong anyway. So with tourism, I believe there's a way to employ individuals from the community. Businesses will prosper from the community. And it's up to us as the Tourism Bureau to direct that.
Okay. Now, do you give tours? What do you do? I mean, you consult people on tourism? You give tours? How do you do your
all
thing?
of that? We curate tourism destinations.
Okay.
That's why in 2017, when I was working on the James Hayes campaign.
Okay. James Hayes,
yeah,
one of my board members.
Absolutely, absolutely. Shout out to Mr. James Hayes. I was just thinking about the assets, the cultural assets that are here. So he and I embarked on, finding out about the Tuskegee Airmen. They have over at the Compton Airport for children to come, and they're teaching kids how to fly now. Right. That's a cultural asset. I talked about Venus and Serena. With Venus and Serena's place, that just needs to be an homage to them. I understand they have a tennis camp here. It needs to be to the point to where we bring people through to see the magnificence of what they had accomplished since our sister Althea Gibson. Right. What else is there? Is signs of Moorish temples. Yeah, Moorish temple. Compton. Yeah, it's a Moorish temple. It's a building. If you look at the architecture.
Okay. Where?
A lot of things. I have to get that information for you. Okay. But it's a temple or the architecture that was here because if you look at, we were here before Columbus. Okay. So if we were here before Columbus, what did that history look like? It's a brother that I'm going to bring on my show by the name of Sabir Bey. Okay. He has all that history. Okay. And the navigator for when Columbus came was a Moor. That I did know. Yeah. That I did know. And also George Bush lived here. George Bush lived here. Kevin Costner speaks of being out of Compton on a regular basis. Exactly. And that's why I feel that the Compton Walk of Fame is so important because Compton has a history that is phenomenal. And for a small city. Absolutely. For a small city, okay, we have so much of a rich historical background. I mean, how Compton was developed, and even the streets. Most people don't know, and I just found this out myself, that most of the streets in Compton are named after the people that have found Compton. Yes. Okay. Yes. Mr. Rosecrans, Mr. Willowbrook, Mr. Wilmington. Yes. Mr. Compton. Compton's named after a man. Okay. And a lot of these people are buried over at the Woodlawn Cemetery off of
Greenleaf.
Yeah, because that was the only cemetery black people could be buried.
Right.
Because I have relatives over there.
Okay.
Had them for years.
Okay.
Yeah. So my grandmother, every Memorial Day as a kid growing up, I'm just like, well, I went to the cemetery.
Right.
Because we're giving homage,
Mm.
to our people. And then when you look at the history of Memorial Day,
Mhm.
we started that holiday in honoring our soldiers that fought in these different wars that America brings upon us.
Right.
So yeah. So once I learned why we went, why we were there, and Woodlawn was a cemetery.
Okay.
See, we go to Inglewood now, we go to
Right.
Forest Line now. They wouldn't bury us over there.
Wow. Wow.
So it's a whole historical place.
Okay. How long you been doing what you do?
I have been. Well, I'm native to Los Angeles. I was
Okay.
born and raised here.
Where'd you go to school?
Washington High.
I've been running to more Washington High people.
Generals.
I've been running to more generals in Compton.
It was about about that whole Southern League,
Okay.
football, the track,
Right.
and so forth and so on. But no, Compton. It's a pride about Compton, no matter where you're from.
It's something about that city, man. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's the water, the location. I have no idea, but it's kept me there through all my adventures. I ended up going back, and I had the reason why I'm doing this show is because of Compton.
Right.
I had a public access show in Compton for years on Channel 3 called Issues in the Hood, and it was live. That's why I like doing live shows.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned that at Compton on Long Beach Boulevard, right where Walmart is, right next to where Walmart is. I was there for 15 years, got over 500 shows. In fact, those two containers right there you're looking at contain the VHS tapes of all my shows. That's how many shows I have.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
First of all, I want to thank you. I got to thank you for being one of the first people to sign up on our website. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
No, when I saw the logo, I'm like, okay, thank you, ancestors. I don't have to I can continue on in the project that I had already started back in 2017.
Okay.
And now that you've made it a chamber of commerce, people need to understand the importance of a chamber of commerce.
Yes.
A chamber of commerce directs the economic development of a city or of a place.
Ooh, you know what? I understood. I had an idea, but I didn't know what I got myself into, but I'm glad I did.
Absolutely.
Okay. And sometimes I got to give my boy Dean Jones a shout out. Sometimes people may see something in you that you don't see in yourself and push you or nudge you to be something that I ain't thinking about that. But once you do it, hey man, good looking out. That was a good idea. And that's what I'm finding with the Entertainment Chamber of Commerce. It puts me in places that I normally wouldn't be. Even as the godfather of West Coast hip hop, it don't qualify you to be there. Okay.
But it does, because you know the history.
Yes. Okay.
That's what qualifies you to do.
Right. And my thing. Entertainment has been my thing since I was a kid. And I'm glad to be in a position, and thanks to Dre and some things being here put us in the Super Bowl. Like last night, I had to go to the SoFi Stadium for an event. Well, I'm on the same field that my club is represented in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And I got a couple of pictures of that. So when I tell people this is who I am, this is what I did, oh my God, doors open up. So opportunities are presenting themselves based on all these connections and all these different situations. And I thank God for it.
Absolutely. It's for a time such as this. Sometimes we don't know. Or it's not revealed to us because pieces have to be in place.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It's a path that's set. So again, when I came to the round table and I saw Entertainment Chamber of Commerce, what did I tell you? Oh, I'm getting ready to join this right here, because this brother knows exactly what he's talking about.
And Metro was there, and that makes it, and that's part of making tourism accessible.
Exactly.
Okay. I was so glad we were able to host that particular event, because now I was able to present my proposal directly for somebody else in Metro whose job is part of innovation. Okay. And I heard so much information that day. it's just a blessing to be able to have time to go to those kind of meetings, so you can see what's being planned in your community, as opposed to waiting. Oh, there it is. No, no, no. They planned this 10 years ago. You just went at the meeting, okay? And being able to, I'm semi-retired. I thought I was retired. I really ain't retired as I thought I was. Okay,
retire.
I ain't as retired as I thought I was going to be. Okay, I left the club and just got into something else. I was in club entertainment for years, but there's a factor that my buddy turned me on to, and it's called opportunity cost. It's a term that he turned me on to, Western Soul, Kingsley Jones, opportunity cost. And being in the club, locked in the club every weekend, for me, cost me a lot of opportunities, because a lot of things were happening on the weekends. But I got to go to bed. I got to go take a nap at about 4 o'clock, so I can get ready to go to work at 9 to be up all night till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Meanwhile, I got to rest the next couple of days. So I'm missing all kinds of stuff. I'm always tired. But now, because I get to go to bed at 11 o'clock, okay, and get up when I get ready to, which is about 5 or 6, depending on what I got to do, it just makes my day that much more exciting. And I get to meet nice people like you.
Absolutely. That's the...
Somebody spoke to you today and said, oh, she's a sweetheart.
That's when I decided to walk off the plantation, because my background, I was a legal secretary for 35 years.
Were you really?
Yes. So I was in the halls of where things were taking place, documents. I've worked in just about every practice group, meaning litigation, intellectual property, IP. I was in, banking and finance. So I was in a lot. I had a Wall Street Journal. I had a Time. I had a Newsweek that came across my desk every day. So I had the opportunity, because I was at the time when secretaries did everything.
Right.
We did the research, we did the documents, typed the documents.
But he made all the money.
Absolutely. And so that gave me a lot of, information at my fingertips. Financial Times. I was reading the Financial Times back in the 80s. So being in that space, as time went on, I decided, I need to take this knowledge and go create my own advisor, be my own legal advisor.
Okay.
Because once you know how to do the research, you know what you're looking for, everything is doors open for you, because you can speak the language.
Right.
That's right. It's about speaking the language. Sometimes, I look at, we look at entertainers. You got to know how to read that contract. You got to know the terms and definitions of what you're signing on to. And if you don't, you look at kind of what's going on now, where everybody's just in these contracts and can't get out. And if you decide to get out, there may be consequences.
Yeah, you're going to give up something.
Yeah.
You got to leave this here, you go.
Yeah.
But your name going to stay here, your stuff going to stay here, your design's going to stay here, all your stuff going to stay here. Come on, take your ass where you want to go.
Exactly.
More robberies are committed with a big pen than a Smith & Wesson pistol.
Absolutely.
Okay. And till you understand that, more robberies are committed with a pen and paper than ever with bullets and guns.
Absolutely. Okay. If you kind of look at what's going on with Kyrie and me, the contracts, the whole sports, what are you signing up for? And it cannot just be about the money.
Right.
And then you just cannot go in excited about the bling, because the bling will blind you.
That's give me a little something. I've been preaching that for so long. I'm glad somebody else understand that, because when I was in the record business, they had a thing. They would come time to sign the contract. They put the check on top of the contract.
Yeah, look at that.
And you can see your name and the number on top of the contract. And you got all this paper you got to go through. Okay. And depending on who you were, you might not want to go through all that paper. Because if you saw that check with your name on it, 100,000, whatever, you went shopping.
You win. Yeah.
Mentally, you went shopping. You went shopping. Buy my mama this, buy my daddy this, I'm gonna buy me this right here. And where do I sign at? That's the first question. Where do we sign? And we sign right here. Okay. You got one check, 39 pages of paperwork, and that last because on the contract, a record contract, they put on the first page, they put the value of the contract. Okay. This contract is worth $1.2 million, but they'll tell you, you got to do all these other things for the next 39 pages. And if you don't, do these things. This contract is only worth that check on top of this damn price on this contract.
It's called terms and conditions.
Terms and conditions, okay?
Terms and conditions.
And terms and conditions, boy, will kill you.
Absolutely.
And it's just amazing that in 2022, hip hop is 50 years old.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yes, it'll be 50 years old next year.
Yeah.
In 2022, them terms and conditions are still kicking brothers in the butt because they don't want to read them 39 pages.
But it's not so much as you have to understand basic terms and definitions. It goes back to third grade vocabulary.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you look it up. I try to tell all the clients that I have, get you a Black's Law dictionary. Because Webster's dictionary is different from Black's Law dictionary because the key word here is law.
I'm going to write that down. Black's Law?
Black's Law dictionary.
Black's Law dictionary.
Because their terms and definitions are the same as what's in that contract.
Right.
Because if you look at a Webster's dictionary, you may have 3 definitions.
Right, for the same word.
For the same word.
Right.
But when it comes to a law dictionary,
right,
that's what's going to stand up in court when they say that you're breaching the contract.
That's the definition they're going by. Because sometimes you got one word with 3 or 4 different definitions to it.
Absolutely.
Same word could be
absolutely.
pronounced differently in a different situation. And when that pronunciation kicks in, so does this particular definition. So you're looking at, you just sign something for, you think you are, this is for a record. No, it's for recording. It's different. Okay.
Absolutely.
And it's a record and a recording is 2 different things. And most people don't understand it.
No,
okay.
That's what I always admired about Berry Gordy.
Okay.
You know, and then when I look at a Dame Dash in his, I call him the mini Berry Gordy. Because for me, when I look at him, same head shape.
Okay. Right around here.
Yeah,
okay.
He's doing that grand and the way it's shaped. That's how I see him because he's done what he's done, CEO music or whatever. But you have to be able to control. First of all, you have to know that you can control your own destiny even with these contracts. You know, because I don't know who it is. I think it's Angela Bassett. She has in her contract was just a certain role. She's just not going to play, and she's not going to do.
You ain't never seen her naked.
Never.
Never.
You haven't even seen her showing her goodies at all.
Nope, she don't do it.
Yeah, so it's when you.
And she's still respected.
Oh my God, yes, because that's what it's about now. See, I believe she comes from the school of the Diane Carrolls and the Sidney Poitiers back in them. See, it was a school, and the Ruby Dees and the Ossie Davis. It was a school for them. You know, where you learn how to conduct yourself. This is like what Berry Gordy did with Motown.
Right.
You look at the way everyone was dressed.
Right.
You know, how you had to present yourself. And they were always elegant and classy.
Tuxedos and evening dresses and stopping the name of love when an evening dress.
You know,
okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So it's something that this generation can take a lesson from.
Now you know what? Now we done got all the way. We done left all off. We taking a tour. Taking a tour through history. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
But back to tourism. You know, we have a Black Hollywood. You know, just like with what you're doing, the whole Walk of Fame.
Right.
That's our Hollywood.
Right.
And we have to showcase that so we can tell the true story of what's going on in Compton about the entertainers as opposed to what mainstream media. That's why I like podcasts now.
I do. Oh, that's why I do what I do.
Yeah. And that's why what they call the new Black media. Because we had that at one time. It was a brother, Tony Brown. Tony Brown's Journal.
Tony Brown's Journal. Yes, ma'am.
Tony Brown's Journal. My first, because we had to listen to the radio when I was coming up.
Right.
There wasn't no TV was reserved for Sundays.
And it went off at 12 o'clock.
And my father controlled the remote, if you want to say.
Whoever,
he could only watch what he wanted to watch.
Whoever had the pliers in my house controlled the TV. I like that. Whoever had the pliers can turn the TV.
Turn that channel.
And if your daddy's sitting there watching TV, you ain't changing nothing. It ain't going to change.
That's why I'm a Western bonanza.
Come on, look at you.
That's what we had to watch. But we also, because I grew up Central Avenue.
Okay.
You know, so that was a whole cultural experience that most people don't get, because I was right in the midst of that. You know, so again, there were rules, there were regulations on how we conducted ourselves.
Right.
And so they couldn't get anything on you. You know, it was a code, like we're all being on code and how we're going to move forward in this place they call America. So we have to start controlling. We are starting to control our narrative.
Mhm.
We're starting to control our intellectual property because any business person, any singer artist, you need to be able to control your own intellectual property. And a lot of this information comes through our movies. Because if you remember Ray with Jamie Foxx,
Right.
and Ray went through this, and this, but I want to control my own masters.
Mm-hmm.
And that shocked them.
Mm-hmm.
And they were
Blind.
like,
He can see, but he saw the game.
yeah, he saw the
He
game.
may be blind, but he saw the
Sam
game.
Cooke saw the game.
Right.
You know, so as we watch our films, we have to look for the knowledge and the nuggets in the subliminal messages that they put in film to our advantage, because they're there. We just have to be looking for that. Okay. And the same thing with tourism. When you come to Compton, you know, what is it that you want to see? Because we're going to put together bus tours.
Okay.
So these bus tours will go to a particular destination, and then we will go to a restaurant that's within the community.
Okay.
Because tourism encompasses retail,
Okay.
entertainment, and food.
Okay.
Those are the three things. Because people want to come, they want to be entertained, they want to sit down and eat
Right.
a good meal, and they want to take from that the experience. So that's what people are paying for. They're paying for the experience of being in the presence of what Compton has to offer. And that's monetizable. It's like everybody go out there and see Mickey.
Right.
You know, at $500 for a family of four.
Well, 500. My sister just went down there. She took her nieces, and took my nieces and her granddaughter, which are her granddaughters, and they ended up spending like $1,100.
I know.
$1,100 just to walk into town.
That's it.
Well, I think it might have been like 6 people, 6, 7 people.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's
I remember when Disneyland first opened up. My dad, well, back in the day when I was a kid, it was opened up. But my dad hated Disneyland. $4 to go see a damn mouse? Are you out of your mind? $4 to get in? Disneyland was always we can go to the Knott's Berry Farm for $1.
That's right.
Okay, it was like that. And my old man, he would flip out. I ain't going. Y'all go. My mom would take $20 to get us all in. Okay, and we got them little books.
That's right. They
would
have little coupons. Absolutely.
Little ticket books, right? Absolutely. And you never had enough ticket books to get on all the good stuff.
Exactly.
You had enough to get on some of the stuff. You had to make a choice. You ain't gonna get on Pirates of the Caribbean and this right here. I think you might have two D tickets. Two D tickets. Okay, you had plenty of A tickets. You can go off to that Lincoln stuff and the Dumbo stuff, but when it came down to the good stuff, oh no, you got to make a choice. You always brought tickets back home.
Absolutely.
Okay, that was before the 91 freeway was built. You had to go to Artesia.
Absolutely.
And it was all orange groves.
Yes, it was. Okay. That's where Ergo, Orange County.
Yes. And don't get me talking about some old stuff. I'm old, so and you might have a few years on you because you're agreeing with me. So you've been there. Okay.
yes.
But you know what though? That's the beauty of getting old. You got something to remember.
Wisdom.
Yes.
Wisdom. Yeah. Just like with you're coming up with the Walk of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Right where the train line stops. Mm-hmm. That's where everybody's gonna go first.
That's that. I've had debates. Well, we gotta put it on Compton Boulevard. No, that's too much walking.
Exactly.
We gotta put it up by this house, by the Heritage House. No, you are sitting right here at the train station. Right. If people come with any kind of apprehensions whatsoever, they can look around and say, "Okay, police. We got security. We got the Walk of Fame. If we don't feel comfortable, they can still get the experience and get back on the train."
Exactly.
They can take whatever pictures they want to take, see whatever they want to see, buy whatever they're going to buy. They want to go to the shopping center. They right there, and I'm quite sure once this thing all comes to fruition, everybody will. It would be a safe zone, okay? Because it's going to be a tourist attraction, and ain't nobody gonna let nobody mess with the money.
And see, this is one of the things that as I can continue to curate tours, I fold security because it's nowhere it's secure in LA now. They rolling trucks up and Da Vinci stealing bags and whatever. So Beverly Hills is no more safe than Compton.
Right.
So with that, so I know people have to be assured that they're going to be safe.
Right.
Hire local, because to me, this when I was coming up, the street served two purposes. Just like everybody would talk about the wino on the corner.
Mm-hmm.
That was your neighborhood watch.
He knew everything.
He knew everything that was going on.
And for a bottle of wine, he'd tell it to you.
That's it. So I want to be able to, not I want to be able, I'm going to employ the kids in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
They will learn about Compton. That will instill pride in them for where they live. And they get to earn some money.
Right.
All at the same time, because was a devil mind is that
devil's mind, idle mind, the devil's workshop.
So when we put our children onto where they live, their culture and their heritage, they will take pride in it. Just like they have on airplanes now, they have air marshals.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have air marshals on.
They talked about the same thing about having intervention people on the trains, because you can't, if you got somebody harassing you on the train, you might not have time to wait for the next stop. Okay.
Exactly.
You might have time to push a button and wait for that. Ain't the train driver's job.
No.
You encapsulated in a vehicle for, I don't know, 20, 30, 20, 15, 20 minutes, depending on how long between stops. But if that ain't your stop, do you want to get off and do you want to get off? You might miss your stop because you don't want to be off the bus with this fool, off the train with this fool. Okay. Exactly. He get off too. Now you really got problems. So you got to go to a destination that you really may not intended to go just for your own safety. But then even when you get there, how you gonna know anybody know this person's gonna give you a problem? So yeah, we have to have people that's gonna be doing intervention on the train, harassment situations, prevent all that. And I love the trains.
I love the train ride.
Look, check this out. I forgot I'm a senior citizen, right? I forgot. I've been going. I'm always going to LAX, flying someplace, and I'm paying Uber rides, $20 up to $20 back. My cousin said, "Hey man, you're a senior citizen, and for 75 cents you can catch the train. 75 cents.
Take advantage.
And the train station is right up the street.
Exactly.
And I'm a walker. I walk for health purposes. So it ain't nothing for me to grab my suitcase, walk up the street, or get dropped off by my son and walk home. Mm-hmm. If it's still daylight, and catch the train, catch the tram over to the thing, and ain't got to worry about nothing. 75 cents.
Take advantage of all those 65 or 62 and over opportunities and get your
AARP
card.
It took me forever. It took me forever to get used to that. And I'm still dealing with me. I got Medicare, and I'm like, I'm qualified for Medicare. I'm old, but I don't feel old.
Because we take care of ourselves, and you use, because I started collecting my Social Security at 62.
I did too.
Everybody said, well, you're not going to get as much. Well, this is what I need right now.
I can use this right now.
I can grow that.
Right.
And ever since then, I started looking at the perks. And because we're not going to look like the dominant society when it comes to age and health and what have you. Because my grandmother was 83 when she passed, 86 when she passed. Mm-hmm. But my grandmother looked every bit of 70. Mm. You couldn't really tell her age. And that's how we are as a people. That melanin.
That's super glue.
Yeah.
That's age deterrent. Okay.
Yeah. So, again, with the Walk of Fame, who would you have in the Walk of Fame?
I got a lot of friends that have passed. I think that would be, I was sitting there thinking about it. It's funny you said that, but I was thinking about that while you were talking. I think some of the first inductions we would do with people that have passed that came out of Compton, like Tiny Lister, mm-hmm. AJ Johnson, mm-hmm. And of course the regulars, Serena Venus, Dr. Dre, Kendrick Lamar. But still we have a lot of greatness out of Compton, like Doris Davis, the first Black female mayor of Compton. Okay. And what we want to do, we want to include technology so that there will be a QR code on the monument. Mm-hmm. You scan that QR code and take you to a website. Mm-hmm. And that website would give you all the details of this person. It's like anything else. It give you a website of this person's contribution and why they're here. Because if you don't know who the names on the Walk of Fame, as time grows, who is Jimmy Durante? Okay, I don't know. He's a big nose dude. Okay, there's no pictures on there. There's no way to really know unless you know. Yeah. Okay, Well, ours we're going to incorporate technology with it so that you can scan a QR code, see what. Oh, okay, and you will know something. You'll have it permanently on your phone if you want to download it. So all those things are what we're putting together. It's just so many people. I'm a part of the 125 Historical Society.
I met them, love them.
And Pastor Brown and the First Lady Pauline, hanging out with them, I've learned so much about Compton. I mean, Compton has a 66-and-old basketball team, the longest undefeated record in CIF history. Wow. But because they're Black, nobody don't know that.
But because they're Black, it's our story to tell.
And you know what? And I'm gonna tell you something else. I'm gonna use my personal thing again to tell you back at what you said. When the movie Straight Outta Compton came out, a lot of people got left out. A lot of people got left out of that movie. JJ Fad, Miss Chalet, my buddy Laylaw, they got left out of the movie because it was a 2.5 hour movie, and it was in the first. My boy, when he said he first saw it was like 3 or 4 hours because you try to tell all these stories within the story, but because you're a part of that story, it's your job to tell that story, tell your part of that story, okay? And that's what I've been doing for the past 7 years. That movie's 7 years old now, okay? Past 7 years, I'm a regular in college just speaking about my role in the movie. Okay.
Now, what I like about what I thought was just marketing genius, not without Alonzo.
Thank you. Thank you. I have my show.
Like, oh my, and then it corresponds to the NWA. I would just say, okay, I got to get with this brother.
Okay.
Because that's just genius right there.
I can't take full credit for it though, because they actually gave it to me years ago. And somebody asked him, what does NWA stand for? Niggas Without Alonzo. Okay. And I just, when it came to write my book, I just figured out a way to make it work.
Well, that works, brother.
So I'll take the alley-oop.
Absolutely.
I'll take it. But yeah, folks, you're live with Lonzo and Miss Khalifa Bay. We here talking about tourism, the importance of contracts. Now, see, this is when you meet some. This is the beauty of a podcast. We are at 42 minutes and 30 seconds right now. Okay. And we didn't have time. We met at the event. I didn't know she was a legal secretary. I got to talk to her after we got this camera, okay? But this is the beauty of a podcast. It's like taking somebody out to dinner without taking them out to dinner, okay? Because you get a chance to really interact and talk. I was on Love Connection one time back in the day.
Really?
I was on Love Connection. Yeah. I did all kind of crazy stuff. I was on Love Connection. They tell you, don't go to a movie. Don't go just to dinner. Do something where you can interact so you can get to know people. Okay. And I remember them telling me that. And I found when I do podcasts, started when I do my public access show, by sitting and talking to a person for an hour. My show was an hour and a half. You got time to just go into details. Okay. So sometimes we talk about tourism, but you also had the opportunity to share with me and the audience that you also were a legal secretary. That's a hell of a skill to have.
Operating in America, even if you don't just take a class on contracts. Just take a class on contract. El Camino College, the law library downtown offers courses or whatever. We can sit there and talk with the attorney. It's just imperative because tourism, when it first came, when you go for it, was based on contracts. America's based on contracts.
Okay. Right.
Just
paper theft.
Terms. All you have to understand is the terms and definition. Basic vocabulary. Right. You had a word. Right. You learn how to spell it. You learn what the definition is, and you also learn how to apply that word.
Right.
What is content and context
in
which that word is being used? It's simple. Just like with my grandson now. That's what we're going through. We're going through grammar. It's just basic grammar. Society tries to make it like it's this big. Oh, you have to be this. No, you don't.
Well, you know
what? A third grade education.
I equate a contract to a word puzzle they had back in school. Train left Chicago. One train left Chicago at 55 miles an hour. Another one left New York at 65 miles an hour. They have to travel so many miles an hour per, to get to California.
Right.
Well, that's the same thing with a contract.
Exactly.
Okay, same thing with the contract. You got this much money coming based on this performance, okay? And over a period of time, then we're gonna hold they call reserve. What's a reserve? Reserve means that's a minus. Okay, that's minus.
Mm-hmm.
All this plus, we're gonna minus and then give you a percentage of this over a period of time. Why is that? So I can take your money, put it into my interest-bearing account, and make money on your money before I pay you your money. Bottom line.
That's it.
Bottom line. Okay.
With courses that are out here, like I said, you said you listen to a podcast on finance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now they're coming out with blockchain and cryptocurrency and NFTs. These new ways of monetizing what you have. You can take a class on it.
Yes.
It's no need to be ignorant of certain things.
That's very true.
And a college degree is not what everybody needs, because if you look at our people in the past, when we had all these multiple Black Wall Streets, half of them didn't go to college.
One of the richest guys I knew, I grew up with, that taught me a lot, the club owner, Jeffrey Harris.
Yeah, you was telling me about him.
When he passed, he was a multi-millionaire, third grade education. He knew entertainment. He knew construction and entertainment. Entertainment finances construction. And once he got through, they started making more money in construction, he let me take over the entertainment. That's how I got my break. Okay. And he was one of them cats that he believed in his people. And he gave me an opportunity at 22 years old that I couldn't have imagined. So that's why it's important. I tell youngsters, find you an old person and hang out with them. Just because they got kids don't mean the kids want to be a part of what they do.
That's it.
Just because they got kids, everybody. I got one of my friends. He got a t-shirt business. His kids are not interested in his t-shirt business. So if there's another young man or a young lady who wants to be a part of your t-shirt business, let them come in and work.
Because it's about being self-sufficient.
Right.
And nowadays, kids don't have to set their foot on the corporate plantation. You don't have to go, because you're giving your knowledge away to someone else. You're helping them build their business. I had a lot of things where say, well, it's just too hard. No, it's not hard. It's about you. Why are you going into business? You're earning an income as opposed to having a job. And when you get your mindset right about what it is to earn an income.
Ooh, I love you.
You know,
I love you.
You have to earn an income.
I preach this all the time. You don't need a job. You need income. Job is a way to get income,
right?
But you don't need a job to get income.
No.
Okay. And I was talking to one of my proteges yesterday. Young cat comes by here, works in the studio all the time. He was going to do a music video, and he says, "I said, how you been doing, man?" He said, "I'm doing this thing for Amazon." What you do? He said he's forgot what it was, some kind of shipper for Amazon. He uses his own car, and he goes and picks up packages, and they tell you you're gonna get $150 dropping these packages off. Okay. And they give you, based on hourly rate, $40-some an hour. So it could be, or $30-some an hour, whatever it is. And he says it usually takes, if they pay you for 4, it may take me 2. He said, I do this once a day, 7 days a week. I work 2 hours. I make $700 a week.
Earning it.
Okay. He's 25 years old. Okay. So he making $2,500 a month, working 8 hours a week, 8 hours a month. Well, 8 hours a week.
And see, and that's, they want to call it the gig economy, because that's got to come up with a name for it. But I do shipping as well. I have another company, South Los Angeles Logistics.
Okay.
We ship anything, anywhere in the world.
Okay.
So that was a matter of taking a couple of classes. And you could earn your money. And Amazon had that young man get with me, because I have a truck that needs to be out there.
What?
Yeah, absolutely.
I had a buddy just bought a truck for Amazon.
And there are opportunities where you are able to take advantage and still remain independent. Because again, you remain independent. You've earned your income. You're not doing 40 hours, and you can choose or choose not to at your discretion.
Everybody got 8 hours a day. How you spend them is up to you. You can spend them doing this right here, or you can spend them bringing some money. I was talking to a buddy of mine yesterday, another buddy of mine. He is an extra. He's a musician, and his days are pretty empty. So he goes out to he signed up with Central Casting. He goes out to movie sets and he's an extra. And he gets paid $15, $16 an hour to sit there most of the time. And while they setting up cameras and setting up the shot, he's still getting paid. And he said I make a couple $100 a day sitting here. They might need me for a whole hour, but as long as I'm here, I get paid.
I had an opportunity to do that. I was on one of the judge shows.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one of Byron Allen's.
Right.
Byron Allen has the judge shows.
Right, right.
He does.
Okay.
And that day, I think I made $350. $350
sitting there, and they feed you,
and they feed you,
and they feed you all day. Okay, breakfast, lunch, and dinner if you go overtime.
Exactly.
Okay.
And they have temp agencies that'll send you out because I answered a temp ad. And I said, well, let me go see what this is. I said, well, you got to have headshots and this and this. And I'm like, okay. So when I did that, so I submitted my information. I was actually defended.
Okay.
On my particular episode.
Okay.
You know, it's our ad lib improvisation.
Okay.
That's really what it was for me.
Okay. So you about bad as me. I did Love Connection. I did Grudge Match. I've been on about two or three different shows back in the day. Mm-hmm. So I get that. I understand. It's fun.
Yeah.
People, if you broke, it's because you want to be broke.
That's right. It's a lot of opportunities because most people don't think outside the box.
My nephew, good dude, he says, buddy called, hey man, I got a job. I got this grip job I'm doing over here in Hollywood. I can't make it today. Could you come in and fill in for me? He said, I'll give it a shot. He don't know nothing about being a grip. And he went over there and got to gripping, picking up stuff. And they said, man, you work pretty good. You available tomorrow? Yeah. So next day, him and his buddy was working together. Mm-hmm. His buddy went to school, learned how to work a camera. So he got picked up on the camera crew. And my nephew is right now, he's on his third position. Now he's working with the special effects company. Mm. He's a grip for a special effects company. And he said, I make $900 a day.
See.
Okay. He came and bought my van. I had a van, a camper van I had. Send me the van, man. I was going to sell it anyway. Perfect timing. Just so happened he wanted to buy the van because he was working in Lancaster, but he lived in Hawthorne. Mm-hmm. So I could crash in the van and got to drive back and forth to work. Worked out for everybody. Okay.
You have to use your mind.
Yeah, so if you want to do it, okay, if you want to do it, there's ways to get it done. And I don't know how they got to do it, what they got to do with tourism, but that's all right.
Because
you listen to grown folks talk. You're gonna learn something.
You know, because the whole thing with tourism, there are multiple opportunities within the industry. You can become a tour guide. You know, if you have a restaurant. You know, if you have any type of entertainment skill, if you sing, you see about there on Hollywood bar, just singing and wearing costumes or whatever, you know, and people put your bucket out there, musicians. Mm-hmm. It's a brother that I've been watching for years. He plays the violin. Okay. And that brother is, any symphony would love to have him.
Wow.
You know, but, you know, it's so much you can do within it. You can take tickets. You know, you can be on the bus. You can just sit there and just, you know, observe tourists. It's that's how you can create your own economy. And
once you get into them circles, you'd be surprised where you end up at. You got half the battle is getting there. Or they say half the battle is showing up.
It's a showing up, and through tourism and what the Bureau is going to do, we're going to provide those opportunities for the business and residents who live here. I am not a tourist. Okay. I live here. Okay. It's I do urban ballroom dancing. Okay. And it's his brother out of Detroit, Mr. Smooth, and he cruises every year. We cruise the Caribbean and so many places where we just dance. Okay. And then work on a.
You never came to my club dancing?
No.
Because you know Dee Dee? I got a bunch of. I know everybody in the dance group. I'm surprised. J&J. I know everybody in the dance group. My club had a pretty big dance floor at one time. I did ballroom. Did ballroom, line dancing, Chicago stepping. I did DJ for everybody.
We need some of those clubs because, you know, with our age group, that's our entertainment. We need grown folks entertainment.
You know what? We'll talk after the show.
Yeah, because it's a place as I was coming over here that I'm gonna hit you on to. Maybe we can do some direct to be able to.
We'll talk after the show.
All
right, folks. You got more than what you was planning for. We was talking about tourism, but but I found out she's a legal secretary. I found out she's a very intelligent lady. She's in the shipping and receiving. She has a truck looking for somebody to drive it. Now, if you've been out in the middle of Crenshaw or Rosecrans doing the circles that got picked up by the police, you can't do that. Okay, you can't do that because your drivers, you have what they call a exhibitionist violation. You can't drive Uber or Lyft.
That's what they're calling it.
Exhibitionist violation when you do circles in the street, yeah, or the motorcycle doing wheelies. That's exhibition.
Oh.
Okay, you get caught doing that. That's a major situation, and you can't.
That's endangering the public.
That's endangering the public. So you can't get a driving Uber and Lyft with that on your driving record.
Ooh, okay, all right.
Okay,
people.
So people got to get out of their own way. You got to stop being young and start being smart. If you start thinking smart while you're young, you'd be surprised how much further ahead you'll be of your peers.
See,
ask somebody who knows.
You can also drive a tour bus. See, those are those. Just like with shipping, it's so many ancillary businesses can come out of tourism and shipping, trade. I just attended a USA Africa conference out in Anaheim, and it was put on by the people from India.
Okay.
You know, you can learn how to be a trade consultant, which involves tourism. Because if people are looking, they have what they call EB-5.
Okay.
EB-5 is a way in which to get permanent citizenship in the United States.
Okay.
If you invest, the figure now is $800,000.
Okay.
You take a project like what we're doing, get some EB-5, an EB-5 investor. They drop $800,000, and their money is due back in 5 years. They get the visa. They have to be able to create jobs, but there's your foundation for taking off. Because if you look at all the buildings that are downtown,
right?
That's not European money. That's not white folk money. That's EB-5. That's foreign direct investment is what they call it. So we could get a foreign investor to be able to come and say, support the project. Give him his money back. He's a citizen. Everybody, we free and clear.
Wow.
Yeah, opportunities about it, and that's tied into trade and tourism. That's why I put the two together.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you have a person that wants to import, I import coffee from Uganda.
Okay. I met a girl the other day. I was in Sacramento with a sister. I thought she does the same thing. She said, Uganda. Coffee is something about that coffee is special.
It's very special because it's the group that I found on Facebook, back and forth. They wanted it was a village in Uganda, and the people stopped producing the beans because they weren't getting a fair market value for the beans.
Okay.
So they just shut it down.
Okay.
I'm not going to give you my product. So they were saying they needed someone to bring, the beans over. I ship. So we were able to bring that trade business. They needed a roaster. I was able to find a roaster for them, packaging and distribution. That's what I do, a package and distribution. So trade and commerce, trade and tourism. It's a way to reach across the globe. There's money over there because people want to come to America.
Wow.
So when they come and they visit and they want to come and look at come to Compton and they might want to invest, bring them on a tour.
All right, folks, you're live with Lonzo, the Godfather of West Coast Hip Hop and the president of the Compton Entertainment Chamber of Commerce. My guest is a very interesting lady. We're going to have more conversation off the camera than we are on. Miss Khalifa Bey from the South Los Angeles Tourism and Trade Agency?
No, South Los Angeles Bureau of Tourism and Trade.
All right, folks, you heard it straight from her herself. Anything you want to say before we wrap up? You got a website or Instagram?
Website, www.solabatt.org, www.solabatt.org, Facebook page, SOLABTT.
All right, folks, there you go. Straight out of her mouth to your ears. In the meantime, folks, this is Lonzo, the Godfather and the president. We are out of here. We're gonna wrap this show up right quick. Thank you, Ms. Khalifa Bay, for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Y'all don't forget to download the app, the Compton Entertainment Chamber of Commerce app, folks. Available on Android and iPhone. This podcast will be on there as well, and also other events going on in Compton and around the city. In the meantime, folks, I will see y'all later. Peace.